everyone, nintendoboy17 here. It's been a while since I did a review. This time, I am talking about the Nintendo DS version of The Sims 2. The plot of the game pits the player into a job where he or she now has to manage a hotel in Strangetown. While your sim gets customers that are the average civilians, the story moves a bit further with three suspicious figures who try to take over Strangetown after stopping by at your hotel. But you later on meet other figures who will help you out. The Sims 2 on the DS also had some changes from the past handheld Sims games, Bustin' Out and Urb's Sims in the City. Other than the change from 2D to 3D, things like how the time runs, socializing with other Sims, managing your needs, how to get money, and how to get skill points have changed. First, I'll start with how the time runs. Unlike past Sims games where the time runs by minutes lasting as long as seconds, you instead use the internal clock in your DS, sort of like how Animal Crossing runs. In my honest opinion, I'm pretty mixed on this one because it only seems to resolve around few objectives and finding skill points, the latter of which we'll talk about soon enough. Though on the other hand, it's still pretty cool to have the game run on the same time the real world runs. For socializing with other Sims, instead of getting a menu where you choose what to talk about, you instead get this mini-game where depending on the mood of the other Sim, you have to choose the right kind of interaction depending on the other Sim's body language in order for it to work under a certain time limit. The first time you do it in each mood the other Sim is in, the game will tell you the right options, but after that, you're on your own. Personally, I prefer the choose which topic system in Bustin' Out and Urbs, but once I got used to it, I had fun with what they did in this one, as it still gives me a good puzzling feel to it. For managing your needs, instead of having a counter where it shows what you need to do most between get your sim his or her food because he or she is hungry, or that he or she needs some sleep, you instead get a sanity meter. How to keep your sanity meter up is by, well, doing what your sim needs to do. But in order to tell what he or she needs, you have to either pay attention to his or her actions and guess what they need judging by how they act, or wait until they do it again with a thought bubble with a flashing red picture that tells you what they need. I actually disliked this change because I'd rather know what's going on right off the bat so I can take care of my sim's needs before I do something else. And that sim having those extra bars helped me a lot on that. Not sure why they would strip it down. In the past portable Sims games, when you either played mini-games at certain locations, run favors for other Sims under a certain amount of time, or even sell stuff, you would have gotten money. In Sims 2 on the DS, however, you instead have one main job through the whole game. But luckily, there are still quite a bit of ways to make a living by still having some mini-games at your disposal, such as being a vigilante and even playing cards. But it doesn't end there, as there are still some other things that will still pay you back, like still being able to sell old junk. But I'm not going to drag this on. However, I will say that despite having only one job in the game, it's great that they are giving you more money-making options while doing it. Now, the last change thing I'm going to talk about is getting skill points, and I really hate what they did here. Instead of either studying with the book or running on a treadmill to get a certain point, you have to search for them around areas at certain times. I'm sorry, but I'd rather study books, talk to a mirror, and run on a treadmill, rather than look around for points. Sounds like I'm nitpicking, but I felt the previous methods made far more sense than this one. Anyway, let's talk about the vitals of any game. First off, the graphics, which I think are decent for the DS system. Lots of environments and characters looked pretty good, but I have noticed some very pixelated textures in some spots. Other than that, though, it's pretty good. Now the controls. Unlike the 2D Sims games on the portables, you don't hold down the B button to run. Instead, you hit the B button once and you'll swap between walking and running. Again, it takes some time to get used to, but I have no problem either way. You also use the touchscreen quite a bit in this game, but it's mainly needed for the mini games it provides. In each game, however, it pretty much does the job. You can even use the touchscreen to navigate through menus and interact with other things, but you can use the A button for the latter. One of the things I have noticed about the game, though, is that it can be pretty glitchy sometimes. A few of them can be fixed by resetting the game, but there is one glitch where the game will randomly freeze, and sometimes, even if you reset the game and load your file, it will do it again, right when you load it, causing you to restart all over again. I didn't get this one often as the game is still playable, but even then, that should have gotten fixed before release. Overall, though, the DS version of The Sims 2 is still a decent game despite some glitches and bad changes in some parts. There's still quite a bit of stuff to do, and it will keep you playing because of it.